We're going to take you out to the ball game, a Tidewater Tides baseball game. 1 ticket, please. I think I have enough money.
Here you go, $4.
Thank you very much.
Hope you enjoy the game.
Thank you. This ticket's for you, too.
Welcome to Our Place, Our Time. And on this edition, the place is Met Park, where we'll attend a Tidewater Tides baseball game. We'll meet the man who controls the Tides, Dave Rosenfield. We'll meet the Tide skipper, Mike Cubbage. We'll find out where the best hot dogs are made in Hampton Roads. And we'll have music from Sunnyland. Here's your host, Vianne Webb.
Scholar and philosopher Jacques Barzun once said, "Whoever wants to know about the mind and heart of America had better learn baseball." So, we're here to learn about baseball on this edition of Our Place, Our Time. It's a beautiful day and we're here in Met Park, the home of the Tidewater Tides. Season after season, the Tidewater Tides have been one of the outstanding minor league teams in the country. And for 26 of those seasons, they've been directed by a man by the name of Dave Rosenfield. Dave Rosenfield has directed his Tidewater Tides to successes defined not only by wins and losses, but in the account books as well. Tim Morton prepared this profile of Dave Rosenfield, the man who controls the Tides.
It's all of a piece, really, Tim. The success of the team breeds further success. Our prices are reasonable for program advertising and fence advertising. The fact that there is a reasonable price creates a demand. The demand creates a scarcity. The scarcity creates demand. It's somebody's law of economics. I don't know who it is. But it's. We try to give, just like ticket prices, we try to give everybody their money's worth and a little bit more. And people have bought that concept.
Tides Lucky Number programs.
In the 20-odd years that I've worked with Dave, I've found him to be the best general manager, major league or minor league, in America.
Dave basically, and I think this is exactly what you can ask for in a businessman, has a tremendous amount of honesty and integrity. When he told you something would be done, it was done. He is a gentleman that really doesn't have double standards. He has his goals in mind and his values in mind and carries it out.
Home for Dave Rosenfield is this lovely house in Virginia Beach's Lakeview shores. He and his wife, Maida, have been married for more than 30 years. A son also works for the Tidewater Tides. They share their house with a Weimaraner named Misty and an ever-increasing collection of professional baseball memories going back nearly 40 years.
Dave, what are your first memories of baseball?
1938 World Series, 7 years old, had no earthly idea what baseball was, and my dad was listening to Cubs and Yankees, and sitting on the floor, and he was listening to it on the radio, and I was asking questions. It seemed like a kind of a mysterious type of thing, and I really didn't know what it was about. And I saw my first professional game early in the 1939 season, and kind of a really interesting thing, the Los Angeles Angels in the Coast League had won the first 19 games of the season. The longest opening winning streak to my knowledge, in the history of baseball. The first game I ever saw was the 20th game, the game that they lost. And I've been in love with the game ever since. Have wanted to be involved in very little else. Been involved in other professional sports, but baseball has always been my first love.
You were a player in your youth. What kind of player were you?
Yeah, not a very good one. I played because I loved it, and I was as good as I was only because I wanted to be. Did not have a lot of talent. Kind of hard to believe right now, but I was very little. I was the smallest kid in my class through most of my growing up. As a junior in high school, I was 5'3", weighed 120 pounds. I played professionally and in college at about 165 pounds.
What position did you play?
I was a catcher, and I look more like a catcher now than I did then. I played 1 year professionally, made a determination by looking around me that I was not going to be a major league player, and decided to go ahead and, I had promised my father that I would, if he let me sign a professional contract, that I would finish my education, and I went back to school and got my degree.
How'd you get into management? How'd you get into baseball management?
After I had gone back to school, and I was in the Navy, and I handled the travel and purchasing and a bunch of things for the Navy team, I had finished college, and I quit a job one Friday afternoon, and a friend of mine said, "Do you want to get back in baseball?" I said, "No, I don't want to play anymore." I'd hurt my arm. And he said, "No, in the front office." And I said, "Well, I would love to, but I can't imagine who's going to hire me with no experience." And he said, "Well, they're looking for a guy in Bakersfield," which was about 100 miles north of LA. Call such and such a guy, which I did on Monday. I said, "Well, we've pretty much decided on somebody, but if you want to drive up, we'll talk to you." I drove up, was interviewed, toughest interview in the world. I was in a room with 5 guys, sitting in a chair in the middle of a room. They said, "Go ahead, tell us something." And they interviewed me, gave me the job, asked me when I could start, and I said I could start today. And they gave me the job, and I've been at it ever since. That was in February of 1956.
You call him the best general manager in minor league baseball. Define that for me. What is the best?
Well, first is a basic understanding of the game itself. He has that. Secondly, a willingness and ability to keep cost down to a minimum, because if you keep cost down to a minimum, you're not going to lose money if you draw practically no one. And the third thing is to get people in the seats in the ballpark. And he has, I think, mastered all 3 of those, and has done an exceptionally fine job for us.
Basically, what he has done here is he's kept the ticket prices low. You bring a family of 4 or 5 out here, it's a good night's entertainment, and they're not charging you an arm a leg. Dave is extremely loyal to those people who patronize him. You see all of these clients that have all of these billboards out here, and the program and the promotions. He will get back to them next year, and he will give them first choice as far as seats and as far as tickets are concerned.
We have a waiting list for signs, and we have sold more program space advertising-wise this year than ever before. And thirdly, if you walk in his office, he has a blackboard on which he lists all of the promotional events that we have during the year, and the whole blackboard looks like it's full to me.
What do you do? This team is always a contender every year. What is it that you do that makes this team a contender?
Because of my longevity in the business, I probably have more input with the Mets than most minor league general managers have with their parent club. They do listen to my suggestions, they listen to my evaluations. I have worked very well with virtually every manager that they've ever had here. Mm-hmm. And that, again, that type of harmony helps to bring some success.
I think perhaps if you were to mention one thing about Dave that maybe is a slight negative, and perhaps he knows about this and he's considered, he does have a short fuse. And most perfectionists, I think, are this way. Getting back to his value system, he has strong values. And when things rub him the wrong way, we used to be up in the press box, and certain things would happen during the course of a ball game, and he would just get blown all out of kilter.
Do you have a temper?
Yeah. Somebody told me a long time ago that was a good way to avoid having ulcers, was to not hold it in. And I've taken that advice to heart. I don't. I blow up pretty good. Not often, and I'm a tough guy to work for, I'm sure, and I think you could ask any of my people and they would probably tell you that. But I think that I'm fair.
They all seem to say that.
I demand as much of myself as I demand, or more of myself than I demand of them. I think that this is a business that demands that this be a career rather than a job. If you're not interested in going on and succeeding in this business, you ought to get out of it and go do something else. And if it is a career to you, you ought to work hard at it.
Thank you, Tim Morton. We've met the team's leader in the front office. In a moment, we're going to talk to their manager in the field. His name is Mike Cuppage. But first, we'd like to tell you about some important events happening throughout the area in the next few days. Here are our choices. The manager of the Tidewater Tides is a young man from Charlottesville, Virginia, now in his second season here. His name is Mike Cuppage. It occurred to me that baseball was a sort of great chess game, a mind game. I know that it's projected by statistics, and so I wondered if you'd talk to me a bit about the strategy of baseball.
Well, there can be a great deal of strategy involved in a baseball game, and the way strategy enters into a game is normally in the closeness of the game. 50 out of 150 games approximately each year are decided by one run. So the one-run games are usually lost and not won. So that's when you get a great deal of strategy. When the guys go out and hit and pitch and catch it well, you get the large lopsided wins, and there's not a great deal of strategy. There's just the pure art of the game. The guys hitting home runs, the pitcher's pitching well, and strategy doesn't get involved, but oftentimes it does.
But it's known as a pitcher's game, really, isn't it, in terms of winning and losing? I was telling somebody in football, they'll mention a quarterback and say, well, he led the Redskins to thus-and-so team. In baseball, it seems, to me, the novice, that the game is debited or credited against the pitcher. Why is that?
Well, pitching is a large part of it, no doubt about it. Now, you can't win without good pitching. Ask the Baltimore Orioles that right now. But I've been fortunate to have good pitching, and good pitching, what it does, it always gives you a chance to win a ball game. They keep you close. Sometimes they shut a team out or hold a team to 1 or 2 runs. If they keep you close, then you're always in the game, and your kids have the good spirit, and they always think they have a chance to win. That's what good pitching does for you.
That's interesting, because I was wondering what the allure of baseball is. I guess we've always wondered why it still remains that great American passion, referred to as the great American pastime. And I had wondered if it's because people sitting in the stands could identify with you.
That's a good point. I think almost everyone from one time or another is raised on baseball, and they play Little League or Junior League or whatever. There's always been an affiliation somewhere in their life with the game of baseball, and some never get it out of their system. I think it's the allure of these fantasy camps where the older men and women go down to Florida and put on a major league uniform when they're 50 or 60 years old. The allure of people going to spring training, that's such an attraction to get out of the cold north and go down to spring training and watch baseball games, watch young guys go out and chase balls or whatever. There is a strong passion, I think, throughout this country for the game of baseball, and because so many people have been involved, they stay involved, and they manage right along with the managers, and they listen in on the radio to the telecast, to the games, and they watch on TV, and I really feel like it holds a strong attraction on our nation.
You've had a wonderful career, haven't you? I think that our viewers need to know, first of all, that you're from Virginia. I thought it really wonderful that you went to the University of Virginia on a baseball scholarship, but were quarterback of the first string of the football team. And you've come up and down. You played in the majors. You've done it all, and you've done it at a very young age. And it leads me to ask you what kind of career these fellows can have and look forward to if they never make it to the majors. How long can you stay?
Players do end up playing a few years at this level. Normally, when players can't advance in lower leagues, they're released and they go home and start up a new career. But players are so close at this level to the major leagues, and a lot of these players have major league time, so they keep hanging in there, hoping that their break will come and they'll get that chance to get to the big leagues for the first time or get back to the big leagues. I think anyone that plays this game has a strong passion for it. It gets in their blood, and it's really hard to take the uniform off. I know I've found it to be that way. I have a strong passion for the game. I've lived the game all my life since I was about 3 or 4 years old. And hopefully I'll be in this game the rest of my life as long as I live, because I love it and I enjoy it, and I just feel like a lot of nice things have happened to Mike Cubbage, no doubt about it. I've had a good career, and my timing has been good. Sometimes players' timing isn't real good, but my timing throughout my career has been good, not only as a player but as a manager. I'm with a great organization now and a lot of talented kids, and they're just a joy to work with.
Thank you, Mike. We have a question for you. What's a baseball game without a good hot dog? Dave Rosenfield and the Tidewater Tides say that the best hot dogs in Hampton Roads are right here in Met Park. Well, there are other places that have good hot dogs too. And Tempe Fisk set out to find the winner.
They first called them Dachshund sausages in Germany. We know them as Red Hots, Wienerwursts, or just plain old dogs. You can have them split, broiled, grilled, kosher, with or without relish, or just eat them plain. One thing is certain, the all-American hot dog is frankly a doggone good meal.
According to the Oscar Mayer Company, the nation's leading hot dog manufacturer, the hot dog as we know it began in New York City's Polo Grounds, home of the New York Giants, on a cold April day in 1900. Concessions were having no luck selling ice cream and soda, so they sent out for some francs. Advertising them as Dachshund sausages, the vendor Harry Stevens sold them as Red Hots. One of his customers was cartoonist Tad Dorgan. Dorgan sketched a dachshund in a roll, and the rest is history. Our Hampton Roads region boasts a variety of places to sample this all-American meal. If you're looking for a basic hot dog with few extra frills, the Dog and Burger in downtown Norfolk has them, complete with the old-style stand-up counter and barber pole. There are times, however, when a regular-size hot dog just won't do the trick. That's when you head for Pop's Footlongs in Grafton. It's a family operation that's been under the present management for the last 12 years and a popular peninsula hangout. Joe Allen, owner and proprietor, thinks he knows why.
These are foot-long hot dog rolls, and we pre-cook these hot dogs beforehand, and so they'll be good and hot and ready for you to eat. Put ketchup, mustard. All right, I'm gonna put onions on it and my homemade chili, and you have a hot dog.
Thank you. So, Pauline, you've been here 17 years.
Yes.
What's the largest order anyone's ever ordered of hot dogs?
The largest order we had, one man came and got 7 footlongs and ate them. Then over the phone, we had an order of 24.
Did the man that ate 7 live through the ordeal?
Yes, ma'am. He came back.
If foot-long hot dogs are a little too long for you and you'd rather have a New York dog, the only kind that's really any good, says Al Stein, then you need to come to his place, Famous Uncle Al's.
Well, it comes out of New York. It's the best food in town, and Boar's Head makes the best hot dog there is.
You wouldn't be prejudiced because you're
No,
from New York?
not at all. You try it, and if you tell me it's not the best, don't pay for it.
Uncle Al thinks most of the reason people come for his hot dogs is because they're New York dogs, but he says the name doesn't hurt either.
Well, I got drunk at my niece's wedding, and they kept calling me Famous Uncle Al, and my wife said if I ever went back into business, they'd call it Famous Uncle Al's. And that's the best name I could have picked.
There are those longtime Virginians who say you haven't really had a hot dog until you've had a twirly dog at Smitty's in Hampton. Shirley Blackburn would agree. She says they're one of the most popular items at the landmark drive-in that has been serving customers for over 3 decades. She should know she's been there for 27 of those years herself, and Shirley's considered a supreme twirly dog maker. Smitty's curb waitresses work very hard. Each of the 3 girls assigned to deliver dogs will serve anywhere from 25 to 90 cars apiece during the lunch hour, and cars start lining up at 11 a.m. They know almost everyone by name because many of them are regulars, and they take orders with speed and accuracy. They also make change the old-fashioned way. Next time you're out for a meal, try a twirly dog, a footlong, a kosher New York dog, or any number of other varieties that exist in Hampton Roads. You might discover that the hot dog is a doggone good meal.
I'm going to try one of Dave Rosenfield's hot dogs, and while I do, we have some music for you to listen to. It's from a blues group called Sunnyland. The tune's appropriate enough, entitled Sportin' Life.
I got a letter, people from my home. Most of my good friends are dead and gone. It makes you sad, it makes you mad, makes you wonder about time to come. Well, my own mother once said to me, well, son, are you so blind that you can't see? You gotta change, son, rearrange. You better quit your low down way. I've been a liar, I've been a cheater too, spent all of my money on booze and you. But baby, that nightlife, that old sporting life, I swear it's killing me. So I'm gonna quit all my running round, believe I'll get married, and I will settle down, 'cause this nightlife, this old sporting life, well, I swear it's killing me. This old nightlife is killing me.
Baseball lovers call the game America's game, but the game most of us grew up with and some of you still play is softball. Of course, for somebody with my baseball skills, the idea of catching or hitting a softball is a much more realistic proposition. Joe Pitts discovered a softball team that's been playing together for many years and still having a great deal of fun.
Softball. You played it as a kid, then maybe baseball or football took its place. To many people, spring is the beginning of softball season, and to this one group of players, that season has lasted over 12 years. These are the High Tides, a group of friends who got together 12 years ago to do something with their summer and have been together ever since. Although the game resembles its cousin baseball, the rules vary slightly.
And I don't know if you really understand the theory of the game, but the game has been played with 3 bases, a home plate, 10 other people, a designated hitter, and a lot of complainers. We don't have many complainers, but we've been playing the game for this long period of time, enjoying every moment and having a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we're not the #1 team in the nation, but we're going to be someday. Won't we, guys?
And as you can see, professionalism and patriotism are still alive and well on the softball diamond. Like any well-lubricated machine that's used only 4 months out of the year, even this early in the season, they really click together. The High Tides, no relation to those other guys, do have a history, however. Both in 1979 and '84, they won the city championship, and so far, things look good for 1988.
The same year that the Redskins won the championship, the High Tides are going to win it again.
Others don't share that theory, but we give them a chance anyway. On this day, the schedule took them to Sherwood Forest Elementary School in Norfolk, where they played 4 games, won 3, and really wished they'd won the other, playing from 9 a.m. to about 7 that night. To paraphrase a famous softball player, when it's over, and it's time to celebrate. When you work hard, you can play hard.
That's right, the American. Let's go slam down a couple of bottles of milk.
I'm a carton man myself.
Thank you for being with us at the ballpark. Next week on Our Place, Our Time, we're going to go sailing. And we'll meet Bill's show horse, known in sailing circles as Sled. The name's quite fitting because Sled is one of the premier yachtsmen in Hampton Road. And we'll have some tips on one-day vacation trips within reach of Our Place. And Connie Parker will be our musical guest. Till then, I'm Vianne Webb for Our Place, Our Time.